All right, guys, Geronimo Jack is back. Like I said, you'd see me one more time, and I am here with Jolster, who you guys may know as our main admin, our kind of like lead man in charge, our CEO. He's the one working behind the scenes to make everything happen. And here with me just to kind of talk to you guys and thank you what's going on. We've had a lot go on over the last few months internally, from having to rebuild our brand to expanding our team. One thing that's been a core tenet for us as a group, whether we were in the original iteration of ATS or the PCC now, it's the community comes first, and everyone on the team is really passionate about that. And so we just wanted to thank you guys again on that one.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it started off as a small event, just me originally putting something together. Felt like I wanted to do something with the community, and now it's grown into something fantastic with the additions of people like you, Lance, Choice, and everyone else. It's been super fantastic, from like content creators, players, streamers, and the community itself, which we felt the need to thank you all for being here, for the support that you've given, where it's subscribing to the channel or the anonymous donations that we've been receiving and all the other things. It's been fantastic up until this point. Never expected it to be this way. And
Yeah.
so
Even with everything that's been going on in the Predecessor community, or in Predecessor as a whole, it's an early access game that's just been out. We have a very, very small community, and it's the little game that's been raised from the dead, more or less. The community has really rallied around us as a group, showing that the drive for community does come first. We've received so many messages from content creators, players, and people competing, streamers, and just viewers, thanking us individually as a group for what's going on and offering to help out, and they just want to be a part of this, and they're just happy how the event's going and happy to be here. So after seeing all that support, we want to take the time to sit down and thank you guys for that one.
yes, most definitely. And also the people behind the scenes, right? Like I mentioned earlier, with Choice and Hot Sauce and TDM doing all the work. And then you have individuals like Grady, who's been helping out today, 94J. Connor came over and helped us from For the Core. Can't wait to do some more with them in the future.
And we will be doing more stuff with them in the future.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. So it's
Um,
and
Don't forget
Stranger.
Stranger as well. He's a mod
Yeah,
for the core as well. So we have some kind of like more official, unofficial, but official partnerships going, and enable the ability to bridge together and start working together more consistently, which will be nice.
yes, yeah, yeah, and also I think you have a list there of just fantastic content creators and
Yeah.
streamers.
So we have a bunch of streamers and content creators who've been helping, just plug and get the word out there that there is a good tournament for Predecessor out right now. And we're just going to go through the list quickly. Justro TV reached out to him a while ago. Soul Reaper, Switch TV, F6, of course, Survivor, Rdawggg. Thank you. You are a host, but thank you for helping out as well. Defenses, Crashy, Plato, Crazy Fool. Now, the nice thing with professors is that they are effectively running their own tournament through Pedversity. However, they've been really good with helping us out as well, and just promoting the fact that we are a community together. And that's been important. And we can't also forget Tekken Kid, the guy who's been completely dominating Soul Lane all day today.
Oh yeah, it's been fantastic watching him. I find myself more glued to watching the games instead of doing what I'm supposed to be doing the background. Like it's it's been fantastic just seeing that go, and I mean it's been surprising. And now it's time to get into the finals. I'm super excited. I hope chat's super excited because this is fantastic. Both of the top seeds have been knocked out.
New
Now we have
seeds, more
yeah,
competition.
yeah. I mean it's crazy. Once again, we still don't have a back-to-back champion yet. I thought we were going to get one this time. So I
We'll
I
get
can't
there in
wait.
a
I'm ready to get
second.
right
Yeah.
into it. Yeah.
We'll get there in 1 second, but we have one
Yeah.
last thank you. It's you. You work overnights. I see you're a tired man right now. So thank you, Jolster, on behalf of everyone here at the PCC and everyone who wants to help out. You've started something great. And that's about it. I believe we're going back to the desk, and we'll catch you guys in a bit. Thanks for everything today, guys. Enjoy the rest of the finals.
My gosh, that kind of made me a little bit teary. Thank you so much, Joelster. Thank you so much, Geronimo Jack. Thank you to our production team. Thank you to this community who has been supporting us. And wow, what a tournament, you guys. Main event. This is the PCC. We are now back to watch these series, the last series of these games. I now have Lakeinator joining me with Cosby. We are going to be watching the best of 5. These teams are now playing for money. There is now, I mean, they've been playing for money the whole time, but now someone's going to go home with more money than the other guy. We have $750 going to the first placer and $250 going to the second placer. On Team Rogue, just going over the roster, we have Nitro, Haru, Pinzo, Tekken Kid, and Appy Picker. On Team Royalty, we've got Dare, we've got Pablo, we've got Six, Seismic, and North. Going into the series, what do you think, Cosby?
We saw these two teams play in our our seeding tournament or group stages. We did see Rogue pull ahead. I believe it was 2-2. They played each other 3 times. They won 2-1. It was just for seeding, so maybe it wasn't as serious an environment. But this is for the big money, right? This is $750 for the winner, $250 for the loser. Both teams going home with some money, some cash in their pockets, and hopefully a highlight reel or two. But these
guys are going home richer.
Initially today watching, I was if you were to tell me this was going to be the finals, I would have Royalty. I think North is just insane, the king in the North. But
I love that.
We've seen Tekken Kid be a force to be reckoned with in the off lane, and I think it's going to be a powerhouse showdown in the solo lane for sure. But I don't even have a good prediction yet. I really don't. But if I had to make one right now, I would go in 5 games, Rogue.
Rogue, okay. You know what? When we go back 2 weeks before, these two teams actually went head-to-head and versed each other. And who came out on top was Team Rogue. The only difference was this time around they've got their main roster playing, right? Lakeinator, you were playing with Crashy for Team Rogue. What do you think about? What are your thoughts about this coming match right now?
Honestly, if you told me a month ago you'd see Pinzo Dunzo in the finals, I'd think you'd be joking to me. Now to see how far he's improved and that he's made it to the finals, it's like at the end of the day, both teams are both my boys. They're really cool individuals. I'm rooting for both of them, but I really do want Rogue to pull through and win. I do want Rogue to pull through and win, but it's crazy. I think this has been the most competitive tournament we have seen to date. So I'm super excited to see where things go.
I am also super, super excited. It looks like Cosby's locking down Team Rogue. You're locking down Team Rogue. Remind me again, what did Trix pick? Does anybody remember what he picked?
I think he had...
he picked Professors in the last set, but I think for this set, I think he also said, did he say Rogue as well, or did he say Royalty? I
think he dodged the question is what he did.
Yeah, right. I don't want to be the same as you guys, but I think I'm gonna have to go with Team Rogue for this one. I'm a big fan of Team Royalty as well. We've got Dare, Pablo. I've never seen a lot of Pablo because their main ADC is province. What do you think, Cosby? Or they don't have province playing; they have Pablo instead. Do you know much about that roster with Team Royalty?
Pablo's goated. Pablo's been around. He's an OG. He's played all the games at a high level, every single remake. I have no worries about having Pablo on my roster ever in any role. I think he's definitely one of the best players in NA, and is great to have on any team. So You know, I'm excited. I liked his rev from the last series. I hope we see more of it.
Yep. Yeah, and I
definitely
think he was
don't
the
have any
only
worries
one
about him.
playing Revenant. But I know you want to see this game one, Team Rogue versus Team Royalty. Let's go and see the draft. So Lakeinator, what kind of bands do you think Royalty and Rogue will pick this time around?
I can see Rogue just banning out Kalari or Sevarog. We've seen both do really well in Royalty. It comes down to, you know, if they want to first pick Sev, or are they worried if Royalty's going to first pick Sev, or do they want to deal with Kalari? They're both a menace on their team. And then for the other way around, you look at Rogue, you have Tekken Kid. He loves his crunch. He also loves his Sevarog. And we've seen Nitro can apparently do things with Richter in the jungle. So there's a lot of, I would say, comfort picks on both teams that maybe they might just ban out.
And there we go. Team Rogue banning Kalari and Team Royalty banning Crunch. So I don't think we're going to be seeing Tekken playing Crunch this time around, but Team Royalty does lock on that Sevarog. So maybe we're going to see North with those big shoulder pads this time around. Cosby, what do you think about the picks so far and the bans?
I like this. Respect bans on both sides. The Sevarog going to Royalty's big. They get the Premier Gideon is really what they have been prioritizing in their previous drafts for mid lane. And Bellica too. Maybe support, maybe off lane, but my guess is support here.
Yeah, I think Bellica was on that. Pinzo was picking Bellica for his support. We're gonna see another pick. We've got two picks, Gideon and Bellica for Team Rogue, and Royalty locking down Steel. I wonder if we're gonna be able to see Team Rogue pull off that Richter this time around, because Royalty is locking down Rampage. Lakeinator, what do you think?
Yeah, so this is pretty standard for the Steel pick. That's 100% going to Dare. Dare loves his Steel, and then the Rampage. Taking away Rampage is just always a solid pick. It's a lot of comfort junglers. Like once I want to say again, anyone can play tanks in this game. I feel like it's just the assassins are really hard to play. They have really high skill ceiling. With the Rampage, you can just be that wall for your team. You can be that setup. You don't have to be the carry, but you can put people on your back and say, hey, I can create space. Just jump on them when I go in. So.
And there we go, Team Rogue locking in that Richter. Hey Nitro, I PM'd you my friend code. Please respond. So going back to Team Royalty, they have Sevarog, Steel, Rampage, Gadget, and the Revenant. Team Rogue picking up Gideon, Bellica, Rdawggg, Richter, and a Shinbi this time around. What do you think, Cosby, about the current draft right now? Who do you think wins on this draft?
I love it. I can't say, because the drafts I thought were good ended up being stomps. I like seeing, like I said, Pablo on the Revenant. The huge front line of Royalty to me stands out. There's going to be a lot of bodies to stand behind. The Shinbi obviously stands out. We're going to get to see some more Richter hooks. I don't know. I think both teams showing a lot of respect in the draft, and hopefully that carries over into the actual gameplay.
Lakeinator, what are your thoughts on this draft right now?
I would have to give the favor to Royalty. They just have a massive front line, and they're against a bunch of squishies. So it comes down to, one, if Rogue gets ahead of the tanks, Rogue's gonna run the game. But if Royalty and Rogue stay quite equal, those tanks can be problems, as they can just die at the back line, create room for Gadget to get a big ult off, as well as a Revenant to maybe assassinate, say, the Gideon or say the Rdawggg, as he's done in past games against Team Immune. So it all comes down to how much spacing and how much a lead Royalty can build.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this offlane matchup. So far from what we've seen, Tekken Kid has remained uncontested on the offlane. So I'm thinking he's probably going to be playing the Shinbi against the Sevarog. What do you think, Cosby? What do you think about that matchup?
I've played that matchup. I don't play a ton of offlane, but Shinbi can't really stop Sevarog from doing his thing, in my estimation. I mean, I'm also not as good a Shinbi as North, so we'll definitely see how North plays into it. But I anticipate a farm lane with Shinbi coming in mid game to team fights, pretty powerful. Some items online, to kind of get into the back line and disrupt the enemy carries.
What do you think, Lakeinator? So Rdawggg will be the pick by Norp and Shinbi with the Tekken Kid. What do you think about the offlane matchup?
They're both really good players, so it's hard to tell. Like I said, with Rdawggg, it's really hard to stop him from stacking, especially as Shinbi. You might just have to, like I said, that lane could be a stalemate. As long as Shinbi doesn't fall behind, she can have a great presence in the late game. But like right now, Rdawggg is kind of the king, and the only person that can contest him really or slow him down is, I would say, like Crunch or even some mages in the off lane. But besides that, you know, Rdawggg, just as long as he plays passive and scales, he'll be fine.
I don't think that should be the focus for Rogue either. I think the main focus for them should be Rdawggg, because looking at their draft, they're mostly magic damage dealers. So if Royalty decides to counterplay that by building a lot of magic resist, then Rdawgg's going to be the one that has to pop off here, maybe with the pen build or on-hit pen build or something similar to where he can actually take down these front lines.
All right, so I really want to see this game. Please take it away, Mycology and LanceCecil.
Hello, and I am back once again. Here with me is Mycology. It looks like he is dealing with a little bit of IRL stuff right now, so I am just going to take over for it right now. One of the things that I do really like seeing about this draft that we had picked is that this is a new situation for both of these teams. We have new teams to our finals here on both sides of it, and what we have is what has worked for them in the previous games. They are both sitting back here on picks that they've had success on getting them here. We see Pinzo Dunzo here on the Bellica again. We see Nitro here on the Richter as well. And just like that, we are, you know, back into this game. We are getting ready to go, and we are looking forward to a good game one. Unfortunately, we do have the, here we go. We are getting the overlays set out correctly. Once we get the professors corrected over here onto Rogue, we will be good to go. Having just a couple of technical difficulties with Mycology here quick, so I am going to try to handle this all by myself to get it going here. We're going to see what we can do. It does look like all of the members of Rogue are standing in a 5-point there. See if anybody's going to take too cheeky of a look past a certain line there. But just like that, Nitro's going to slide right past it, get that ward down on the enemy side red buff. Going to be able to get himself back into base as he should start channeling that recall here very shortly. Should be able to switch over to that sweeper potentially. Or maybe he's not going to do the vision trick as he wants to keep that ward. Maybe get himself an early line of vision for his team here. Shinbi is just standing on his red buff, protecting it, making sure that Royalty on the opposing side doesn't sneak in and get that buff in or that ward in for themselves, as Nitro is just going to start it out here. It does look like our guy Mycology has returned to us. So really quick, say hi, Mycology. Let the people know how you're doing. Oh, so it does appear like Mycology's still got the mute button on for himself.
Oh, I think I'm good. I think I'm good. Sorry, guys. I had a small family instance that I had to take care of really quick. I'm very blessed to be here. Lance, thank you so much for having me here tonight. I see I got Nitro over here on the Richter jungle. Been a very spicy pick tonight. 2023, we got sick picks coming through. Lance, how you doing tonight, my guy?
I am so good, Mycology, and it is a blessing to have you back here. We haven't seen you in almost 2 months since the last finals of our main event. We are very lucky to have you here. Glad you made it right on time for the action to start kicking off. We did see that quick ward coverage coming out of Nitro. Has an incredibly fast jungle clear, ripping through this red side jungle, gonna get himself over to level 3. Usually Richter clears that and is finished around the 2-minute and 32 second mark. Gives him a little bit of a buffer time to try to potentially get like a vertical gank onto that mid laner before securing one of the sides for that river buff to get that early mana advantage, XP advantage for the mid laner as well.
Yeah, one of the crazy things I'm seeing a lot here tonight is that we don't have any of our previous reigning champions. Looks like we got some action in the mid lane. 100 Thieves Sticks going in, looking for that deep play. Going to take a little bit too many tower shots. Getting a lot of rain dropped on him by Apple Picker. He's probably going to pick him up. Gets a nice jump over to the top. Can Apple Picker go ahead and secure that? Oh, this is going to be close, Lance. Oh, he's going to miss. He misses the skill shot.
He misses the rock, and now he's into some trouble, but Tekken Kid is going to roam over, going to be able to come in here. So many blinks are going down in that mid lane. That is, I believe, 4 or 5 that we saw total. Abby down to nothing but auto attacks, able to survive with the gadget in her face still, as Tekken Kid going to hit that super crucial roam, come over there, be able to knock that down. I believe that puts it out 1 apiece, as 100 Thieves 6 is able to still make it out of that, and the blood starts early in our grand finals today.
Looks like we already got a little bit of action over here down in the bot lane. Looks like got a little bit of zoning, got a little bit of tower crashing going on. Moving off to the side, they're going to be picking up that gold buff right now. Cold buff, because it's cold if you take it that early.
It definitely is getting it pretty much on that respawn timer. Spawns around the 3-minute mark. They get those waves pushed in. Pablo and Dare are able to get that over to it. So I do want to get back to this, Mycology, because I believe that you were handling something while we tried to make this point earlier. But both of these teams are new to the finals, like we said before. And something that I like to see out of both of them is that we've got these comfort picks. These are champions that they played throughout the course of the day. We just saw the performance that Pinzo put up on Bellica here. We saw what Nitro did on to the Richter. Pablo's pretty much been playing Revenant all day, and then, you know, anybody who can get their hands on Sevrog and Rampage are trying to play those champions right now as well. With them being new finalists, I really like the idea that they are playing comfort things and things that have worked for them really well. What are you expecting to see, like, in evolution-wise, pick-wise, throughout the course of this series, as we are in its infancy?
Yeah, so I understand, like, super cohesively exactly what you just asked me, but it's hard for me to really dictate what's going to be playing out here over, because we're kind of seeing Team Rogue and Team Royalty for the first time in a grand final situation. We don't know how these teams adapt to pressure in thick situations, but what we do know is that a lot of them are content creators, like Pinzo, for example, and we've been able to watch how they adapt and how they form metas and how they choose item build paths based on experiences that they've had. I would tell you that in a lane of what we're looking at right now, we got Haru and Pinzo over versus Daru, and I apologize, I can't see the other guy's name. Wazowski. Mike Wazowski. I love it.
Dare and Mike's first cousin, Pablo Wazowski.
So, when you look at it in this kind of perspective, if Steel gets the correct all-in with the kind of caster AD that Revenant lays out, they have a really great advantage. But however, Rdawggg and Bellica have that whole, like, knockback bleed synergy kind of going on, that they have that poke advantage. So it's going to really come down to who is throwing out the most aggressive play and capitalizing it within a moment's time.
Yeah, very important you don't miss it, as it does look like there's a little bit of roam going on over into the dual lane, as Tekken Kid and Nitro both getting a little bit low over here, as North and Seismic both come over here, getting pressure onto that side. The orb prime buff, or the mini prime buff, not quite onto its first spawn yet, as we are just 6 minutes into the game. So no true bounty for them. A little bit of roam and a little bit of map pressure as well for that Sevrog, trying to do what they can to siphon or to funnel siphon stacks into that champion early. Just hitting level 5 here on Haru, just a little bit of XP in front of where Pinzo is at, as you would expect, trying to get as much solo XP down there on to your ADC as you can. Get that Rdawggg to 6, get it so that he can be safety, or can farm safely already at that 1-0 mark. Feeling real good about himself. Tekken Kid, tell me if I've heard this one before, but winning lane already got that 1 kill advantage over North as well. Although it was not North that fell, it looks like it was Seismic. Getting close to getting first items online. We do have the Alchemical Rod into the Potent Staff for Seismic, so going to be working towards the Megacosm. 100T6 has got that Meat Cleaver on her already. Looks like Pinzo is following Rdawggg strats and is rushing straight towards those Galaxy Greaves, as you saw the boots in his inventory already. Gonna love to see the verticality on the Bellica when she starts just hopping up into the air and over people. Very, very evasive and hard to plan around.
Yeah, to caveat kind of off what you've said, this is the first time I've seen Tekken Kid in action, and he seems to have, like, a very vulgar display of power. The guy doesn't seem to lose lane very much, even when there's oppositional jungle pressure put onto his lane. Haru getting a really nice freeze going on right now. Looks like he's going to be chasing down Nitro and Pinzo, setting up for the gank right now. Looks like they got some wards, so they're getting repositioned. Nothing going to happen right here, right now. Great ward, great awareness coming out. And they're just going to kind of back up on here and try to collect some of that XP. It looks like we got a big fight breaking out over by the Fangtooth pit. And we're just going to kind of back off right there and just kind of reset neutral position.
right? We're going to get back into it. Neither one of these teams trying to get too greedy, too advantageous. We had those early flashes go down early. Looks like they are up on pretty much everybody on the map except for Tekken Kid at this point. Still waiting to get the ultimates out onto the supports and onto Pablo, as well as the rest of the members today have surpassed that level 6 point and do have their ultimates online. So a little bit of an advantage here in the dual lane. To be interesting to see if Team Rogue is going to try to press this. They don't have long to do it, as it actually does look like Pablo has hit 6 himself. So kind of a stalemate there. Both pretty safe ultimates for them, or they can use them aggressively as well, depending on who's going to get the early edge. And right now that is falling towards Haru. Now it looks like because of that little early lane pressure, they are going to get the first prize of the game, which is going to be Fang Tooth 1 falling over for the team, or for Team Rogue.
Looks like we got a little bit of the opposing team checking up right here. They did walk over that ward as they came over. Going to be too little too late. They're going to go ahead and secure that first Fangtooth buff, 50% extra river buffs. Going to be a little bit of a thing. I think a lot of people underestimate, since the Fangtooth changes happened, how important a first Fangtooth is. But what's important is to keep that snowball going continuously throughout the match and constantly picking it up. You know, the first one's not that big of a deal. But once you get that second and third and primal Fangtooth comes online, that's when the real issues come in here. Looks like we're just going through a standard trade right here in the mid lane between Apple Picker and Seismic. And actually, off topic, kind of a little surprising to see Seismic not playing his like coined Bellica in the mid lane, because I'll tell you what, from things I've seen in previous tournaments, his Bellica is disgusting.
I do believe that Rogue picked that up first or second rotation on the Bellica, so taking that away from Seismic, that is actually why he is named
200
Seismic.
IQ pick.
Yeah. Another thing that I do want to point out is that Royalty is doing what they can to make those macro plays as well. We saw that while Rogue was taking that first Fangtooth, they did get that solo kill over onto Tekken Kid in the off lane, picking that up, putting that over onto North, which is important, getting him to the point that he's got a little bit of lane pressure, going to be able to try.
Got a little bit of fighting going on over here, buddy. Oh, we're going away. Got a little bit of a skirmish on the mid lane and in the off lane right now, as we saw. Shimby shimmying a little bit left, a little bit to the right, had a little bit of a 2v2 burst out, and we're panning back over into the off lane. Looks like they're kind of just traded chip for tap right here. I'm very surprised that they have given North Sevarog again. Will this come back to bite them in the butt later into the game?
Right. A lot of people think that they've got, you know, different ideas of what they can play into it, what they can try to do to stop the Sevarog. And then a lot of people come to learn that you cannot stop it. You can only slow it down, especially when it
coming in
is
for a
on
nice
North.
little gank right here. Sevarog already blew his ultimate. Tekken doesn't look to be too afraid right now. Great juke coming out. Little bit of shimmy to the right there. Saw the rock coming in from the left. He's just going to walk away from that. And Sevarog is dying anyway. Didn't get to see the kill cam on how that happened. But what I do know is I don't see any of his team members local in the area.
He based. Anyways, so yeah, he's just going to hit him with that real quick slide to the right, dodge that rock right over there. No Saya buff up there for him to pick up, but good little move over by 6 to come over there, make sure that his Sevarog is going to stay alive, as Sevarog is going to take a little peek over here towards the mid lane, going to find Nitro over there in the river, have a little bit of a wet noodle fight, as they are both just kind of beefy boys right now, but it looks like Nitro is actually starting to win that out. A surprising amount of damage can come out of that Richter early with that electric field E ability that he has. If you stand too close to him, you're going to get zapped. So you got to stay at a range here. Something I do want to point out here, we've got, you know, some really old heads throughout the community that are playing in this game. We see Appy Picker over here for the side of Rogue and Pablo Wazowski filling in for Royalty. These are actually both members of what was once known as Bad Timing. I don't believe Appy Picker was in the tournament that Pablo Wazowski won the second law lobby, because I think Azzy was still mid laning for them. However, these two are old former teammates, friends of each other's, running into each other again. So good to see some cross map rivalries forming, you know, all in friendship.
Absolutely. So what we're just looking like right here is that we're just getting a little bit of that reset going on, kind of both teams kind of vying for that gold advantage to who's going to kind of pick everything up. Right now, we've seen the early Fangtooth picked up. We've seen a little bit of trading going on in every single lane going on. Looks like we got a fat fight going over here by Fangtooth, and he's going to get picked right off. A little bit too late on the rotation right there, but he might have been a little overextended. It looked like he was going for a ward right there without any coverage preemptively.
Yeah, and Nitro's been on point with those. Call him Julia Roberts because the hooks have been pretty with him. He's just getting anybody that comes within a certain range from him. This time it is Dare to Care who falls victim. And once again, we are back to meeting in the center of the lane. Subjugate is going to land down onto Tekken Kid. North is going to have to come out here, see if he can stop them from getting this mini prime, as I do believe it has not fallen yet. Big Tesla Dome's going to come out here right in the corridor. That is going to be able to knock Nitro down. Tekken Kid's going to have to get away. He's just got a slither of health left. And right now, that is 2 down for Rogue. All members do remain for royalty. So that should be a free mini prime for them. As you see, Dare to Care turn towards it. Going to be able to put this over onto the Rampage. Maybe start pressing some other neutral objectives.
Really wonderful rotation coming out from Royalty right there. They got the first pick, and then everybody kind of trickled in a little bit one after another on Rogue, and they were kind of able to snowball that into the prime play right there. That's going to be really big for them. Going ahead, giving it up to 100 Thieves 6 right there, and he's just going to be coming on top. Oh, he's looking for a big rock right there. That's all right. He's going to miss it, but he's going to be backing up, and that's going to be a really big trade for Royalty.
Right, exactly what they're looking to do. That's a lot of global experience. That's a lot of global gold. And every game we've seen Royalty have success in throughout this course of the day, they have gotten both mini primes. They get it early. They get it again as soon as it comes on cooldown. One of their primary objectives throughout the course of it is always to get it so that it spawns around the 19-minute mark. Try to get that second one right as the 20-minute mark.
So we got a big fight coming over right here on the Fangtooth. Looks like he's going and gets a giant ultimate backwards. He's going to get CC locked. Nitro is looking really poor right here. All 4 of Royalty is collapsing on him. This is an absolute fiesta, and he is going to get absolutely obliterated. Ooh, that's a spicy meatball.
Yeah, that's a good job by Nitro to try to turn around and get that ult off. Unfortunately, Haru and Pinzo weren't really in a spot where they could safely drop down below it. Unfortunate that he does get picked off there, doing what he can to turn it around, has to blow the ultimate, but that ultimately is going to be Fangtooth coming over for Royalty as they are starting to get comfortable in this game, come into their own.
Looking like another big fight right here. Dare coming in, looking for it. The blink going to come out from Haru. 100T going to throw out the rock, not going to land right there. They're going to get away from it, but that's going to be okay because they're going to secure their first Fangtooth as well with Prime buff coming into the tower. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the first tower go down right here.
Yeah, they do not have any. They do not have any minions right here on this side of the map, as they already do have a couple of towers down the opposite direction here, as Rogue has been able to capture them. Probably a little bit of a gold swing coming back to the side of Team Royalty right here. See if they're going to be able to use this orb prime for a little bit longer. Probably only have it for about another minute at this point, and see what else they're going to be able to get with it. Right now, looking pretty good with just the Fangtooth and the left side tier 1.
Production, can I get a scoreboard on what's going on? Because I know that I see that we got 1 Fangtooth, 1 tower each. It is 4-5. It is 556. All right, so they have about 60 more farm than the other team right now. This is looking pretty good for both teams. This is anyone's game right now. What it's really going to come down to is who is collapsing on objectives at the appropriate time and who's looking for those picks that they can square off and push that lead.
Right. And something I want to point out as we are looking at these builds right now, something that we've kind of been seeing creeping into the meta lately is what we're seeing on Haru right now, still sitting at that 1 kill 0 death mark. He's got the Stormbreaker. He's got the Sky Splitter already completed going on him. A lot of people would think that that's counterintuitive. A lot of Rdawgg's passive has to deal with crit multiplication. However, this build absolutely shreds people with the rad rounds. Gets to the point that he has 2 or 3 shot in you and he is sending them out pew pew pew, super fast style. Keep your eyes on Haru and the damage he's going to be able to pump out.
Looking back over into the offlane right now, Tekken Kid has been looking very smooth, and obviously from North we've seen an absolute amazing display of Sevarog gameplay throughout the entire night, but Tekken Kid just perhaps does not lose lane and therefore continues to oppress his lead at any given time. He seems very fluid in all of the movements and all the choices that he makes. You can look at every single time he goes for a trade, he always has minion advantage. He knows that Sevarog is more tanky of a champion than the character that he's playing, being Shimby, and that he's always looking for a positive trade scenario. And he's really worked that to his advantage this entire time leading up to this point in the game and in previous matches prior.
Right, definitely trying to take the mantra of win lane, win game very seriously over here. Our Team Rogue, as you do see, they do have all 3 tier 1 towers down already as the minimap is flipping back and forth. A little bit hard to follow which ones have been taken and which ones haven't. However, that is a pretty big advantage in Global Gold for Team Rogue. Even though they did lose that early mini prime buff, that next one should be spawning within the next minute. Look for both Royalty and Rogue to try to catch a good pick out here. Find somebody out of position so that they can be in a good spot to get that global experience, get that global gold, a little bit of lane pressure that comes with mini prime as well, and catapult themselves past the 20-minute mark in this game.
One thing I do have to say is it's very interesting with the finals that we ended up with, because we have 2 North American teams finally going out. Looks like we've got a big fight coming in here. Dare coming in with the big ultimate out from Steel. Wachowski looking for some big plays going on. Unfortunately, gonna miss a little bit of that obliterate, but that's all right. He's got everything online right now. They're taking a ton of damage right now. Six is not letting go. He is sticking on top of them. He's gonna get ulted by the Richter. He's gonna get pulled off to the side. Looks like they're trying to wrap up this team fight right here, but it's just not enough. We got everybody else collapsing in, and there we go. The first one gonna go down. Apple Picker finding himself in a bad position. Beautiful blink right out of there. Pinzo with a beautiful, beautiful assist right there, helping elevate his team, and they're gonna get out of there with a 1-0 trade. I'm not gonna lie. I thought that was going in a very negative direction. Shoutouts to optimal gameplay. I know they just lost one right there, but that was optimal trading right there.
Yeah, that's actually going to be a 3-0 for the side of Royalty. They're probably going to be able to get themselves back into a pretty good spot to control this map. That next Fangtooth will be spawning in about 30 to 45 seconds. All members of Rogue should be back up now, as it is just the Gideon who is still down. But that is going to be a ton of map pressure. Going to be able to push these waves to the spots that they want to set up for this next neutral objective. Will Team Royalty be? And we do get a little bit of a look at the shoulder pads. It looks like North is creeping around that 120 mark, as he still just have the 90 shoulder pads right now, but they are about to get real pointy and spiky, as he is, I'm sure he's only a couple of stacks away from it here, and that is when he really becomes a problem. Gets that extra additional 100 health, gets that extra 50 damage onto the Siphon as well, and that is when he becomes a absolute menace in team fights. And speaking of team fights, it looks like we have one that is getting close to popping off here, as the next and third Fangtooth has spawned.
Looks like they're just kind of like dancing a little bit, looking for a tit for tat. We saw Nitro look for the Riplash before, didn't hit anything. I am still flabbergasted that North is playing Sevarog again with no target ban being displayed here. So they're just going to be going ahead and looking for a little bit of sweep. He's going to yeet a little rock out there, and nothing's going to connect. A little bit of poke from the Gideon coming out. And it looks like they're taking a little bit more damage than they need to right here. It looks like that they're kind of forcing something that they don't necessarily need to be. It looks like we got all 5 players kind of relatively in the same zone, and we know that both teams are looking for whatever pick is going to lead to their next advantage.
Right, it looks like they are just engaging in a little game of peekaboo with each other right now, as nobody's really willing to really throw that CC out, land anything, and start into a fight. But the Subjugate is going to land on Gideon, as I force the Caster's Curse out here to make something happen, and then never mind, it's just going to go back to it. But just like that, Team Royalty is going to turn back over on to the Fangtooth, try to collect this 8% out of combat movement speed. They are going to rip it down very, very quickly, so that is the advantage to them, and the next Fangtooth we see will be Primordial.
Nitro landing a really nice Riplash on North, but it's not going to matter. Apple Picker coming in with a beautiful... Oh, everybody is very low. Looks like they're going to be taking a 1-for-1 trade right there. A little bit of hard to follow with the camera angle right there, but I think this is going to come out for Team Royalty.
Right, yeah, 1-for-1 trade right now. Rogue is missing Haru, as the Rdawggg was the first person to fall in there. Steel wasn't quite able to get away, and Pablo Wazowski with the
one in the back line.
Super long range over there on the Obliterate. Gonna be able to pick up Tekken Kit as well. Looks like Nitro fell down in the back somewhere, as this team fight is continuing to get extended. Pinzo's got to get out of here. Oh no! The hat is gonna explode on Pinzo's head, and he is Dunzo. That is probably going to be tier 1 turret falling for Rogue in the mid lane. And
Lance,
we just have
buddy.
more stacks and more stacks popping up here onto North. Still not quite at that 120-minute mark, as they were just playing peekaboo for about 45 seconds after we had mentioned that before. They've got him comfortably where he wants to be at this point in the map, splitting in a lane off by himself on an island. Nobody is 1v1ing North at this point. They're doing exactly what they need to be doing with him.
Penzo looked like he's kind of waiting for that last item by shimmying to the left, to the right a little bit. We got 2 Fangtooths up for Royalty right now, 1 for Rogue. Looks like Royalty is really making great decisions in all of these team fights that are breaking out, and they're always securing something that goes on. We're going to have that off-lane tower go down finally. North kind of throwing his weight around. Nitro coming in, looking for it, a little bit of a bait. Oh, he's going to land the Riplash. Does this guy even miss?
Oh, he's gonna get hit back like Tiger Woods off a driver, gets teed high like John Daly and ripped back out down the fairway. Sevarog is gonna be able to stay safe, potentially soak up this Scion buff for him as well, but Tekken Kid's gonna try to steal it with one of those wolves, see if she can send him hunting. We're not gonna get the chance to see it, but that's okay, as we've got more exciting things popping off. Fighting over some wards over here by the river buffs. Still got about a minute and 30 seconds before they are gonna respawn, but Pinzo and Adair just having a good time looking at each other. Gonna put that wall out, gonna be able to secure that vision line there for Team Royalty. Will Dare.
One thing I've noticed as the championship series has picked up is we're seeing very aggressive warding from both teams, like constantly. Like you would always think that warding is always a big deal. Well, one thing I've already noticed right here, right off the bat, is that every time we're looking at a different team in a different scenario in a different position, there's always somebody walking over an enemy ward. And I really like that.
Right. Something you hear a lot of people complain about is like, oh, there's not enough vision in the game. The cones are too small. The wards are too small. Well, people also complain about the map being small. So if the map's small, it makes sense. The wards are small. It makes sense you don't have a whole lot of them to do. Otherwise, you could cover the entire area of the map. But that is a story for that is a debate for another time entirely. We got to focus more on what is going down right here as we are still in game 1 of our grand finals for the April event of Prime Championship Circuit. And we've got a doozy as it is still locked pretty tight for 24 minutes into the game. And we've got something popping off.
Rogue is coming in. They're going to absolutely obliterate him. And they're coming right back in with Tesla being dropped. Nitro's trying to let in a nice ult. He's going to get CC'd by the Steel anyway. They're kind of collapsing right here. Steel is caught out. Unfortunately, North is coming back in. He is a big boy with big shoulder pads. Going to get a little bit locked up right there. As they're trying to push in, looks like they're going to back up a little bit. And I don't think they're going to get too much more out of this.
Ooh, that black hole!
Get the black hole of a lifetime and nuke them down to 10% and 20% each. Looks like they might be able to swing this a little bit, pick up a few kills.
Yeah, unfortunately for Abby Picker there, hits the black hole of his life, gets him at all exactly where he wants to. That is a wet dream.
Beautiful. That was a beautiful.
But they had killed Haru and Tekken Kid early in that, so there's no damage to follow up. Nitro was also low, running for his life at the end of the fight, not able to turn around and provide any follow-up damage with that Gideon. When he is in the black hole, that is all he's gotten. It just wasn't quite enough to turn that fight for Team Rogue. Royalty starting to come ahead now with a clean 3-for-1 in that last fight.
Looks like they're pushing in right now. Oh, that is a big swing. We got Royalty on 15 kills versus Rogue 7 right now. Farm is relatively even, but I believe Royalty is up 1 Fangtooth as well.
They are, and the objectives as far as towers are starting to become equal, as well as this game is starting to get later into it. All tier 1s down, all tier 2s up across the board right now. Very large area in the middle for these guys to fight, and it looks like the next fight is going to be based around this Primordial Fang that is just coming up on the map.
Yeah, Primal Fang is a really big thing ever since its implementation. I would actually say, depending on the scenario that's going on, it's actually bigger than Prime.
It really depends on what your team comp is, but I agree as far as team fighting goes, the stats that you get past the 32-minute mark are bigger for Primordial Fang.
I really like the vision check that they're doing right here. They're really playing with the environment. They're looking for their opportunities on what they can get. Everybody seems on both sides to be looking for a pick, but it looks like North is going right in there. This guy doesn't care. Six is following right behind, jumping in with the big ult. If we can get a camera rotation a little bit into the back line of that fight, looks like we got another big pick coming out on Nitro potentially.
Right, and with no Appy Picker out for this next fight, Team Rogue needs to be very careful. They don't have the black hole for that big AoE ultimate within the fight here, or within the pit here around Primal Fang 2. So this is probably going to get secured up by Royalty. They're going to drop the Tesla dome down on it just to be sure. Try to burn it as fast as they can. However, Nitro is down for Rogue as well. Should be pretty safe for them to be able to do it. Tekken Kid doing what you're supposed to do, trying to pressure another spot on the map, probably going to be able to pick himself up a tier 2 here. before North is going to be able to come and stop him, but that is a mere consolation prize when it comes to trading it for Prime Mortal Fang. Royalty says hashtag worth in the chat.
This is a no contestation zone. They came up, they picked up the Primal Fangtooth immediately. Looks like Team Royalty is really extending that lead right now. North giving absolutely no cares in the world. Just going to go ahead. He's going to try to steal that. I believe he just got it right there.
He does get it.
Looks like he's taking down Tekken Kid right now. This might be a little bit of an overthirst, but as we can see by the mini-map that he is absolutely safe to do so. Landing the subjugate again. Gonna go ahead and hit her with a big hammer. Knock her backwards. Tekken Kid might finally be meeting his match right here. Got that double dash coming in. Oh, it doesn't matter. This ain't Mario Kart. You are out of there. Nitro a little bit too late to the party.
Right, and the burn that comes through the Primordial Fang is enough to stop it. I don't know if Nitro wants to take this fight either, as he is down 4 levels to North right now. I don't know that a tier 2 tower is going to be enough to keep him safe. Primordial Fang buff still on all members of Royalty, as they got their eyes set now turned to the Orb Prime. Gonna try to get double buff up on this Saturday afternoon and push down the base of Team Rogue.
I'm gonna be honest, I know we've had a lot of MVP discussions tonight, right? North, can I pledge my vote for North? All day, he has been absolutely laying down the shoulder pads. The guy only works shoulders. He's got boulder shoulders, my guy. He goes to the gym. He's the dude who only does shoulder press, and he stacks and stacks and stacks. I love it.
Right. That's so flavorful considering Severog literally doesn't have legs. So that works super well.
You don't have to skip leg day when you don't have legs.
Exactly. How does he jump though? Doesn't matter. Appy Picker's gonna get hit by a rock, hit by a bull rush as well. Gonna try to portal himself out to safety, but the rest of Team Royalty is just gonna follow them right down it like it is a secret tunnel underneath the Royal Palace. They know where they are going. They're gonna pick Appy Picker up. That is a huge AoE ultimate down for this next team fight, as Team Royalty is comfortably in control to take this game at this point.
Team Royalty is coming in with absolute dominance right now. They are like, I think one thing that we've seen consistently throughout Predecessor's lifespan in the tournament series is that when a team takes a lead, they continue with the lead and they push it. Yes, do throws happen, but I really like what Royalty's putting out right here. They're never overextending. They're always keeping wards. They're always making sure that they're in a position. Look at him. He's clearing it right now as I'm talking about it. They're always keeping vision, and they're always maintaining that they are in a positive advantage situation, whether it's 3v2 or 4v1. I love to see it, and we're going to finally see some damage coming up on the first inhibitor right here.
Right, and it does feel like even if the game does get late, it feels like Royalty's got the scaling and the team fight advantage once they got going. Show Rogue's got that big black hole, but with as many times as you've seen Appy Picker get picked off throughout this course of the game, it's almost been a non-factor, as Royalty's been able to choose when they want to fight and when they don't want to fight, and they've been trying to choose, or they haven't been trying, they've been successfully choosing the times that they are going to win these fights, as they now have their eyes set towards the core as they shoot those minions. And actually now they're going to stop, get the clean sweep of all 3 inhibitors as they continue to eye down game 1 and get the early lead in the grand finals.
Looks like they're just going to back up and reset right here. I'm not really.
Oh, that T2 is still up. I didn't even recognize that was behind him. I just didn't imagine that being a possibility this late into the game. However, it does look like they need to crash a wave into it. North's just going to be a big boy standing between him, as he doesn't give a single toot where anybody's out. Big shield slam's going to come through. 106 going to jump in as well, and they are starting to tear down the members of Rogue as they are starting to get super low here. Nitro's gonna have to walk through all of them, gonna get hit by the bull rush, going low himself, and that's gonna be a clean ace for Team Royalty. Should just be a matter of time before they walk a minion wave in and take game 1.
I really just need to express my gratitude as a gamer for how much aggression I just saw right there. They were in the off lane, tier 2 was still up. They said, I don't care, I'll fight in between 2 towers. Then when they backed up and in him, they just ran over anyway. Rampage popped the ult, he tanked everything as he needed. Nobody seemed to have missed a single skill shot. Absolutely beautiful. Game 1 going out to Royalty, and I'm just loving every second of it.
Yeah, long live the king with that sort of performance coming out from them. I feel like they may be able to stay on top for a long time. Rogue has fallen down 0-1 in the past before, and you saw how that came for them in the last semifinal, though. So we're going to have to see if they're going to be able to take it back. What sort of adjustments are you looking for in game 2, Mycology?
I think the biggest adjustment that we could see right now is that we saw consistently throughout the game that rogues were getting picked off in bad scenarios. It wasn't even really a lead thing. It was more that every single time royalty showed up, there was always a number differential. They were more stacked, they were more concentrated, they had better vision control. I would say overall what we need to see in the next game going forward, minus banning Sevarog, is that they need to just be a little bit more cohesive in their group play with everything going forward. The contention of objectives wasn't quite there from what we saw from royalty.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So stick around, stay tuned. We're going to take a short little break to take care of some ads and pay a couple of bills, and we'll be right back with our desk to get straight into game 2.